Hello, Chris here with another episode of the Make It podcast. And this week we have a special bonus episode. It is our live coverage from the Defy Film Festival where we did man on the scene, roaming interviews, some party sound, and we did some interviews with filmmakers as well. So the sound throughout isn't pristine, but it's all worthwhile. All brings a lot of value. I hope you guys really enjoy it. Thank you so much. And thanks to Defy and all the filmmakers that came by and talked to me and the Make It podcast. Enjoy. You're listening to Make It, a podcast by Bonsai Creative that helps creatives in film get where they're going faster by sharing the advice, knowledge, and insights of professional creatives across the film industry. I'm your host, Chris Barkley.
Hi, my name is Jaclyn Bethany. I am the writer-director of the feature film Highway 1, and I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi.
Jaclyn Bethany, welcome to the Make It podcast. And we are live here at the Defy Film Festival. And this is an unusual treat because we're not typically on site at a festival. We are this time. And this festival is all about outside the box films, defiant cinema. So how would you define defiant cinema?
In relation to my film or just in general?
In general, and maybe in relation to your film. I love both of those approaches.
I think that defiant cinema can be many different things. It makes me think of art house cinema. It makes me think of queer cinema. It makes me think of world cinema, things that are not mainstream or commercial. So it's really exciting to find true indie festivals or avant-garde festivals that take risks in programming. I guess my film definitely applies to that because it mixes genre and has a very kind of different array of cast of characters you don't normally see in a movie, and there's different quirks and things that are unique to the world of the film. Like all the characters have Russian names. It all takes place at a New Year's Eve party. A lot of stuff is kind of left unexplained. There's a hint of magical realism. So I can definitely see how it fits into that. It's also an international cast. 3 of them are here with me on the podcast.
How did you, for those who can't see, we're surrounded here with your cast, and how did you find an international cast being from where you're from and creative?
I lived in London for a year and a half. And before that I was in New York, and then I went to grad school at AFI in LA. So it was like I had a pretty large network being from all of those different places. And I kind of, for Highway 1, it was cast through word of mouth, which was really fun. So I cast 2 or 3 people I really wanted to work with, and then they sort of referred me to other people, and then I would remember someone that I met and I would reach out to them about a role. And so it kind of came together that way, and people came in from England and sort of all over to do it. So it was really special.
Yeah. Okay. Let's rewind. What inspired this movie? Give the audience, the listener, a sense of what this movie is about.
Well, what it's about the main, I guess, storyline is a young woman from a small town off of the Highway 1 in California who is sort of remiss with her life and unhappy and wants to kind of find herself. And so she goes to this New Year's Eve party with all her high school friends, but they're all, approaching 30 and sort of having these crisis moments. And there are all these different people there. And she is surprised to see her best friend from high school who moved away, who comes back and comes to the party. And it kind of opens up a whole slew of feelings for her. And then she's sort of surrounded by these kind of crazy millennials. As the night goes on, things become sort of wilder and spooky, and all of the characters sort of have these crisis moments, which are really fun.
Are the crisis moments scary or comedic?
No, they're not scary at all. I don't think. I mean, there's a little bit of spookiness, but nothing that, it's more just like relationship crisis. Everyone is, I think, there's not really many single people. I mean, I guess there are single, but they're all wanting that connection. And I think that's all being in like a small, a house together for one evening can bring out like those feelings. So
what inspired it?
Well, one thing I really wanted to do is I really wanted to make a film that was an ensemble piece and that was also about my generation, I guess. But actually what another kind of the style of the making of the piece was really fun and exciting to me because it was pretty much improvised. Right. We had like a 40 to 50 page outline treatment, and then we had a couple days of rehearsal where I was kind of gauging what people could do, and then we put it together while we were shooting. So that was really exciting.
Wow, it's an incredible timeline, actually. It makes me think about, a lot of filmmakers' first step is to write that first thing and just shoot it. Mm-hmm. And then invariably you get on set and you find out that it's not going to work as smoothly as you'd hope. Was there something like that on your set where you were surprised by something, or you had to have
no, I mean,
creative
sure.
ingenuity to pull something off?
I think that always happens. I think there was just more logistical problems with like time, and so we couldn't shoot every single thing that we wanted to, and stuff like that. But so it was more sort of making the most of the time that we had to shoot this particular story, and like what was sort of important from each facet of the story.
Those are always tough decisions. I remember we did a film where the cinematography and the shot was so beautiful. We shot it in France, and the two protagonists are coming up out of a pool together, and it was just the perfect shot. I mean, it's like a goosebump-inducing shot. And then we realized in the screen testing that it made these two characters that were brother and sister look like they were in a romantic relationship. And we had to drop it from the movie. And so arguably the prettiest shot in the whole movie isn't in the movie, but you have to make those choices, whether it be logistics or with what ends up on the cutting room floor. So I appreciate that. Finish this sentence. As a filmmaker, I defy the expectation that
is thought of me, is given to me. I don't know. I'm like I'm a woman from the South, and there's not, I don't know, many female filmmakers from the South, and to my knowledge, and just in general, I think it's been a male-dominated industry for a long time. There's not a lot of like queer cinema or storytellers or alternative stories being told. I think we're seeing more of that, and there's more festivals that are catering towards that. But that is something, I'm always figuring out what's important to me, how can I put what's relevant right now, how can I put my own spin on it in a way that feels personal to me, and so I'm not just making something to be cool or whatever. And I think that some people in this industry get very caught up in like trying to be, make the best first feature possible, and I think that's the reason why things don't get made.
Yeah.
So,
It's really tricky because in any other industry, you get a lot of at-bats, you get a lot of opportunities to polish and hone. But in film, because the product is more expensive than what you can sell it to an individual for, you don't get those at-bats. And that's why there's pressure on a filmmaker to make that first film this sort of breakout unicorn. And it just isn't very likely. Yeah. Because you just don't know what you don't know when you're making your film. And so you really do need to formulate a team, have people around you. We call it no mercenaries. People who you can just make films with over and over and over again, including a banking partner or a financing partner that allows you to get a second back because they know that your third film is going to break out.
Well,
and they don't have to worry about the first one.
And this was my second film. So, right. I knew I wanted to make a lot of movies. Yeah. And I
think you will.
So, yeah.
You seem super determined. And you're right. I can think of a lot of female filmmakers, but in general, you're right. It's a male-dominated field, in the South especially. And then there's a lot of female filmmakers we talk to here where they're still sort of held back by their upbringing religiously. Mm-hmm. Like down here, you get a lot of that where it's like, oh, I don't want to make this kind of film, or I can't push that limit because there's somebody that's going to be disappointed in me.
Interesting, yeah.
Instead of just being totally free to make what you want to make. As a female filmmaker from the South, a bit of a unicorn yourself, what's one piece of advice you'd give any female filmmaker that's listening to this right now?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I think you should just try to make something, like whether that is on your iPhone or like with like a professional, whatever you can do. I think it's important to keep like making stuff and writing, like just trying to generate content, generate your voice, because people are there's always going to be some stipulation. Even if you get your film done, then there's a whole other thing that happens. So I think just, I guess, the feeling of being able to make, create, and constantly generating ideas, even if it's just one thing, it'll help you keep going, in my opinion.
That's great. I think that's great advice. And this has been fun. Awesome. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media, on the internet, and maybe even see some of your work.
Well, I have an Instagram, but it's not, everyone has an Instagram. It's Jaclyn Bethany. And one of my features, Indigo Valley, is on Amazon, Apple TV, and Vudu, I think. And then this movie, Highway 1, this is our second festival. We premiered at Santa Barbara, and then we're going to Europe next and a bunch of other places. So I don't know. And then these guys are great too. Can they introduce themselves real quick?
I was going to say, you can't say these guys and not let them introduce themselves.
And tell them who you were in the film.
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Elizabeth Yeoman, and I play Sasha in the film. And I'm from England, which is fun.
I'm Dan Shaked. I play Andre. You can find me at my Instagram, Dan Shaked. And I'm from New York.
My name is Sophia Dunn Walker. My name is Sophia Dunn Walker, and I play Thalia in the film. And you can find me at Sophia Dunn Walker. And like, if you just Google that.
That's awesome. All you guys have been wonderful. We'll end on this. Be remiss if I didn't bring up COVID and the way it's changed everything over the last year and a half plus. What do you love about being in person here at a film festival?
I've been lucky, honestly, because I think Highway 1 got in somewhere when people were trying to go back in person. So we premiered in April, and things have been like wonky, and so it feels very lucky to be able to have live screenings, honestly, and not just be on a computer or on a TV, because I think that exposure is great, but I think you can get lost very easily as an independent filmmaker in all of the streaming that's happening. And I don't know. I mean, we're lucky to be here. We're lucky to be alive. There's a lot of more crazier things going on in the world than this, but it feels special to be able to celebrate it in person for sure.
You make a great point too. There's like this deluge of content through streaming, and there's like a new phenomenon happening. If you were to talk to a friend 15 years ago and they were to say, "Oh, have you seen so-and-so show or movie?" You would have known the show or movie, and you'd be like, "Oh, I haven't caught up to it yet, but I will. But thanks for the recommendation. You're like the second person that's told me to watch this." Today, someone recommends something to you, you've never heard of it. Like it's a net new experience for you. Like, "Oh, what is that? Oh, it's on Netflix. Really? Okay." And then you go check it out. And so that is this new interesting thing that's happening that I think independent creatives can take advantage of, because it's like, you don't have to be a known entity to be successful. You just need to find your people now, and then make sure it's good to great, obviously, because it's if it's bad, it's still not going to make it to the streamer. So that's the key. I wish all four of you the best of luck. I know you don't need it. You all seem like you're well on your way. Thank you for spending some time with the Make It podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I'm like, yeah. And I got to talk to the filmmaker like afterwards, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because it was the last film that they showed that night, and the end of that movie is probably the best reaction of any audience I've ever seen in my life.
Period.
Yeah.
Any audience at any festival.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, you're dead.
Now, the good thing about this place is you can meet filmmakers, and, like I'm a Nashville filmmaker too, so it's, we just all come hang out and see our friends, but you get to see all these other people coming in from all over the world doing things, right?
That's right. We just interviewed somebody that's lived in London and LA.
Yeah. This is the reason why this is my favorite film festival.
What we try to do is it's about, did you surprise us? Did you make us think about something in a different way? And the most important thing is there intention? That is at the heart of what we're looking for. You got to make it work, of course, but is there a voice there? Is there, look, a lot of the filmmakers we get in that have talent, but is there a distinct voice? Do you have something to say? Because look, there's good stuff everywhere, but what we're trying to do is have a baseline of artists that are pushing the boundaries in a way that we haven't seen before, but it doesn't mean that, it's experimental film. That's that we do. Obviously, experimental film is a big part of our festival, but within a rom-com, you can have something interesting going on. Within a horror film, you can have something interesting going on. Did you surprise us in one of these genres? You know what I mean? Because we don't care about genre. We don't care about, we accept all genres. We want it all, right? We want animation, we want horror, we want sci-fi, we want drama, we want documentaries, you know what I mean? But did you make it work, and did you surprise us? And did you take us somewhere where we didn't expect? And at the end of the day, did you make us think about it long after we left?
Hey, my name is Christopher Ryan Laughter. I'm a writer-director, and I'm the director of Snow Globe, a short film that just played at Defy Fest.
Evan, Carl, Christopher, welcome to the Make It podcast. And what a night it's been. Wow. So we just wrapped, just to let everyone know, we just wrapped our last block of films. There are certain films that have sort of stood out, head and shoulders above the rest. They're all unique, though. They're all films designed in this festival to put you back on your heels. There was a movie called Touch that everyone has talked about tonight, too. The Israeli teenage girl. All the emojis. Yeah.
That was actually really special.
Yeah.
It was a really special film. It was nice to experience that story from the perspective of another culture.
Yes, where it's like, okay, everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be loved and be seen against the backdrop of Syria, Israel, Middle East conflict and world. It's something that Billy said earlier, which was, to get into this festival, have a POV. There's a lot of people that just think, I can show something really grotesque on screen. I can show this murder. I can show this terrible thing that happens, or I can be really weird. But if there's not a story attached to it, if there's not a POV, if you don't have anything to say, then that doesn't meet the bar. And I think sometimes as filmmakers, we get in our own heads. We're like, well, I don't have anything big or amazing to say. That's not where I'm at in my life. I don't have a take on Roe v. Wade or something. But you don't have to. Yeah. You can be as simple as, I'm lonely. Let me tell a great story around that. I'm sad. Let me tell a story. I want to be seen. Let me tell a story about that. I'm angry. Let me tell a story about that. So that's what I love about this festival in general.
I think you can get into a. You know what I mean? If you think that you're going to make a film that everyone wants to see because you're like this is the big struggle everyone's talking about. Yeah, but do you care about it? Because if you don't care about it, we're going to see it.
Yeah, we're going to see through it. We're going to see through it. I feel like that's going on today. There are some issues that are just like, oh, this can't miss.
right? So, we get pitched, Black Lives Matter stuff. We get pitched Trump stuff. We get pitched. And there are certain things where it's like, but are you the person that needs to make it? Are you trying to latch on to something that's happening right now in the zeitgeist that you feel can't miss as a filmmaker?
It's probably tough to filter through that.
Well, you always can when you get to the script and you get to the planning. Once you get to the part where you want to be in development or you read the story, then that's the truth. Right now, all the other stuff is just bullshit. It's just like the fluff. You get down to the script and you're reading it and you're like, is this good or not? Is it good or not? And that could be a story about zombie pirates, or that could be a story about MLK. Is it good? That's all.
Right.
And that you can't hide from. You can't hide from that, from the 15 grammatical errors you made in the first 20 pages. You can't hide from that. You either did that or you didn't do it. That's kind of where I see it. Finish this sentence for me, Evan. As a filmmaker, I defy the expectation that.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I defy the expectation that you need a lot of money to make a film.
Interesting. So talk to us about that. Why don't you need a lot of money to make a film?
Because, well, it's part of the creative process. And I think, people will often see it as something that limits you as a filmmaker. But when you have those constraints, you can't do this because you don't have the money to do this. It's sort of, I think in some ways it like strangely it helps you make a film and it helps you be creative. So yeah, if that makes any sense.
I think so. And I just talked to Ted Welch, who just had the blessing of being in a Scorsese film with DiCaprio and De Niro, and he just had like 4 lines, but he was in the same scene with them, and he got to watch them work, and he was saying how Scorsese just shoots what he's going to cut. Like there's no cuts, and he never saw someone so efficient and smooth, right? And that saves money. That's what that is. That's ingenuity. And then he talked about DiCaprio, where he's like, he watched a take, then did a take, went back, saw his playback, came back and maybe he had his head like this the first take, and then he had it like that the next take, and then like that the next take.
This is DiCaprio that made this. That he saw his own take. A lot of actors have that.
Have that luxury.
Have that luxury. You know what I mean?
No, and he said that. He admitted.
Sorry, you can't see the monitor.
Yeah, it's like let me go. Can we just do another one? Marty, do you mind if we do one more? I'm going to move my head.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I can pull that off.
He has an advantage that almost no actor has. That is what we even talked about. But he could see, Ted could see like, oh, this is why you're one of the greatest of all time. Because he said by the time they did the take that was actually going to be shot, perfect. Unbelievable.
Like from an acting perspective, it's almost like, because I imagine he's a producer on this thing, So he's wearing a couple of different hats. And the same thing, not the same thing, but we're not at all the same thing, but we make it.
Yeah.
But when you're wearing a couple of different hats, you are looking at stepping back from just your role as an actor, and so it's probably very difficult. But I imagine that's it just from an acting perspective, that's got to be difficult because you don't want to. As much as that the camera's there, obviously, you're a crazy person, the camera's there. But you want to deliver a performance that is not restrained by, the camera. Right. And, to go back and look and say like, oh, my head was in one place when it should have been somewhere else. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's I just imagine it's difficult to do.
And I would say, to your point, it's a big advantage.
Yeah.
Because, video, to see... I remember I was growing up, my sister was a cheerleader. My middle sister, Michelle, she's a cheerleader. She could dance her ass off. I couldn't dance. Being able to see how I looked when I danced, I learned how to dance in a month. That was all it took, a month. And I was a great dancer because I could stop doing the Elaine tiny kicks.
Yeah, you little
I could see the, oh, that's a little kick. I better stop doing that. But you don't know.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand it, you can't change it. And it makes you wonder if more actors should be able to see their playback so they can say, oh, that's how I'm going to look on screen. Huh?
Well, you absolutely should. But when you're watching your face and you're watching a movement that you know was true at the time, and then you say something like, I don't really, buy this or whatever, but you know it was true to you at the time. Now you're judging your performance from a different perspective,
right?
And I think it can screw you up a little bit.
Or if you just like see something that you do on camera, you're like, oh, I didn't like that, and then you start thinking about that, and it just ruins your.
You're like, I don't like it because maybe you don't like how you look when you do that, or maybe you don't like the person you are when you're this person. There's a million factors could be,
right?
But did it resonate? Did it give the character's point of view? Was it good?
Right. The big question I had is seeing that and understanding how these masters work, is it going to affect your acting in the future? And the answer was no. It wasn't going to affect his acting. I said, well, that's interesting, right? Like, it's not going to change you, but it's because you can't change you because you don't have that yet. Not just the opportunity. So not just maybe the talent or skill set yet, but also the opportunity to be that free on set like he could be.
That's rare to do that. I would love to get to a point where I could do something like that. So good for him. That's why he's awesome.
Right. If he walks off set, the movie's over. So that's kind of the thing.
What was the question again? I defy.
Yeah, it was just to finish the sentence. As a filmmaker, I defy the expectation that a film costs lots of money to make. Did you have a take on that about just the cost of film?
You have one?
No, go ahead.
I defy the expectation. Okay. I defy the expectation that we must be afraid of the unknown.
Oh. Let's talk about that a little bit. What?
I truly believe that filmmaking is the opportunity to explore the unknown. Every time we make a film, we go into the unknown. We know some things, but we don't know it all.
Right.
And it can be terrifying for some. It can be exciting for others. It's an opportunity to dive into it. We're working with all these moving parts, and we must go into it with this control material. Know that maybe we don't have control of all the variables that go into making it.
When you go into sets, you don't know what's going to not work. Was there a moment like that for you in making this film? Is there one that sticks out to you that maybe the independent filmmakers that are listening to this right now could maybe gain value from knowing?
Well, I mean, we shot this film in a day. Big, heavy material.
How many pages?
I'm making this number up right now as we speak, so could be completely behind.
Yeah, but I believe it.
It's a 9-inch. It's a 9-inch.
You could have said anything.
It's been a while. It's like it was written 2 years ago, and I did all the editing, so I've been in it, hands in the mud, hands in the quicksand for a while. And now it's out. This is the first time anybody's seen it. My big learning was this is the first time I ever worked with like a storybook narration on top of a story and trying to play with the timing.
Okay.
So not only do we have the performance in the space, we have the narration on top. How do you engage narration, timing for narration and performance, and then get and have a nice rhythm to the whole thing. And I learned a lot by just exploring it. I won't have someone reading the narration on set again. Because you can hear it. Right? You're trying to use the sound design. You want to
You
use
had someone reading it?
Yeah, just to try to find the flow. And the some of the first edits, the protagonist Maisie, she's engaging with the narration. It's an omnipotent narrator, but it's also where the first half of this film takes place. Is it reality? Is it in her head? Is it?
Right.
It's kind of like there's question marks around that intentionally. So she's engaging with it. And then mini versions of the edit later. It's like, let's get rid of that. It really wasn't helping the story. It's really about what's helping the story, what's going to help the audience to actually get this riddle of a short film.
Right.
Short films are hard, to be honest.
Yeah.
To allow the audience to get it, it'd be very difficult.
Yeah.
Because of the short amount of time.
Right.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
feels like in a short film, you can get in your own way, in terms of just trying to be cute or just like, oh, this is going to be different because, can't tell you how many times we see filmmakers make a short film and do some really outrageous stuff with the camera that is not required to tell the story. Right, like you have a drama. Why do you have this Aronofsky set up? what is going on? Why?
I needed to show it in my reel.
Yeah, why is the camera so close to this guy's
for
eyes?
something else, right?
Yeah, it's like some film school stuff, right? Like just
and that plays out because you so desperately want to be different, and what's hard. And what really is heavy lifting is telling a great story in a very short period of time.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, the toughest part, even, writing something like that is just to have a beginning, middle, and end, and like have a nice little complete story that, in such a short amount of time. It's not, you don't have, an hour and a half to tell that story.
Right.
That's something a lot of people, when they're doing a short, just kind of jumps right into it. You know what I mean? It's just like you're right in the film.
You're like in the inciting incident and scene one.
You're in the
That
action.
scene of the feature, right? Right? It's like,
Carl, what's one piece of advice you can give to actors, filmmakers out there if you had to give one?
if I had to give one piece of advice, I would say just keep working and keep doing it. Keep working on your craft. I mean, you're never good enough.
Are there any tactics or tools? Do you watch Netflix? Do you read books?
Yeah, I mean, you have to watch stuff.
What are some of your tools for study and getting better?
I watch and I read. I read things. I read books and stuff. No, but I think you always have to keep working on your craft. Like I think.
Do you stand in a mirror?
No, I do not. When I'm after the shower, but I'm not acting in front of it. But but I think you have to keep working on your craft. And that goes with anybody. You have to keep working and doing it because you can. It's like a muscle. You can lose it and you can lose passion for things and you want to be the best at what you do. And I think if you keep doing something, you're gonna be really good at it. Like you keep working at it. I go to class all the time. I'm always trying to find something that challenges me, work that challenges me. I look for the flaws in my own work and try to fix those or try to get better at it. I'd never be perfect, but we want to keep working, right?
I think they think they're born with this thing. Here's my passion. And it can never be taken away from me, whether I practice it or not, because that's my passion. I live for this. But that's not true, is it?
No, it's not. Well, because I think of it, what came to my head was like,
Intelligence,
I've always wanted to play guitar. Always had a guitar since I was like 12 years old. Every once in a while, I'll learn like a Bruce Springsteen song on YouTube, and that's it. And I always think I want to play. I have never ever fucking learned how to play guitar. I'll go out. I'll come out and play strum. I'm like, I can sing this song, and then I put it away. But it's not that way with writing and acting. Like those are you can tell like that, or I can tell that's something I'm really passionate about. I have like an idea of like, it'd be cool to play guitar, but in order to do that, people really do it. I need to practice every single day. I need to wake up and think about it. And I wake up and be like, when am I going to do this next? How could I make this, how could I write this song? Like, I don't have that in me, so I already know that. So I'm not going to learn guitar.
It's like the idea is a type of, almost a platitude you tell to yourself.
Right. Hopefully I can, get past that and hopefully learn some guitar. But I feel like that was a decent example.
I was a guitar player before I was a filmmaker.
Interesting.
Filmmaking is the most difficult ever. Writing and playing guitar, learning it is like you just have.
You do it, and then I go, I got it. And then I don't pick it up for another 3 weeks.
Right.
But also, part of the fact that when you make a film, you need people that you need help.
You have to corral the truth.
What's that quote? And forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, but it's like an artist needs a brush and like a writer needs a pen, but a filmmaker needs an army. And I think it's like Orson Welles or something. Forgive me if I'm butchering that quote.
It feels right. DiCaprio said that to you.
That's DiCaprio.
Somebody said it. It wasn't me, but I'm relaying it because it's really true. So.
Yeah, I find that to be absolutely the case. And Chris, go ahead. You had a thought.
I just want to share on the topic of the discussion, the words of advice.
Yeah, please.
The thing that I think about often is now after I've made five short films, prior to the first one, I was terrified of making narrative work. I did a lot of commercial work and branded documentary type stuff. And now that I've made five, all that I can really think about is get out of your own way. Because there are plenty of people who will stop what you really want to be doing.
Oh, that's a great point. That's a great point. You don't want to be yet another person stopping you from moving forward. How do you convince yourself that you're worthy of the opportunity that's ahead of you? And just be a little bit better. Even you don't want to always go at that pace, but can I be a little better today than I was the day before? Can I make progress towards a thing? Guitar playing, it resonated with me. I have a piano in my house. I play piano every day. I'm a musician, but I have a guitar back there, and that's just for the looks. It's just because it looks cool to have a guitar sitting there by a piano, and it's just like, Chris, you got to pick that up and learn to play more than just C. You got to play some different chords.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to be that guy at the campfire, just the guy who's like, I got this, guys. Let me play the song that everyone could sing along to. Yeah, probably
and
not.
That's the thing. Can I just play one new chord tomorrow?
Let me play one song.
Maybe at the end of the day, we'll get it all done.
Get that jazz look.
Yeah, that's it.
Figure it out.
Well, that's all. They tell you that's all scales. So you just play the scales over and over again, and then you'll start to learn jazz and blues, and that's kind of the thing. But that hurts the shit out of your fingers. So, maybe we'll stick with piano.
Hey, that's a but statement, and we need some more yes and statements.
That's right. Shame on me. We'll go back, we'll edit that out, and I will play those jazz licks. And you guys, by the way, have inspired me just in the conversation. You guys are all three different kind of personalities, different types of tempos and paces, but so uniquely aligned in the thing you want to do. And that's really inspiring. Tell everybody, Chris, we'll start with you, where we can find you on social media, where we can find you on the internet, maybe even see some of your work, maybe watch Snow Globe.
I'm most active on Instagram. You can find me at Christopher Ryan Laughter. ChrisLaughter.com.
Is Laughter your real last name? Sorry.
Laughter is my last name.
Are you a comedian?
That's a great last name.
Laughter. I'm the first to really push into the laughter.
A great move, big move.
It feels right to me. I'm just going to go my own way, carve my own path.
You're the only laughter I know, and that makes you one of one. I think it's a great move. I have a pseudonym that I use for music because Barkley has already been taken by so many other people. All right, Carl, tell us where we can find you on social media on the internet.
Social media. It's just my name, Carl Girolamo.
Spell that. Spell your last name.
Carl with a K, and it's Girolamo. So carlgirolamo.com.
Also,
I keep my Instagram. I try to do my Instagram private. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm the last one. I'm like
why do you want it?
Because
that's crazy.
Because you know why? Because I don't know. I just feel like there's stuff on there that's my personal life, and like I know my wife
is going to get him a ton of followers.
No, my wife is there. No, don't follow me. I don't care because I don't give a shit. Don't follow me because my wife, my family's on there. Like I don't need strange people to just like look at my pictures for no reason. Like if you like my work, if you want, we'll go to carlgirolamo.com and but don't follow me on Instagram. And out of spite, people will follow me. But I know you. I'll accept you. I like that I can do it. But so you go there, and I'm working on our show Pam and Tommy, which will be out in the fall, and then that's the next thing I'm doing, and that's And that's it.
Super excited about that. Where is Pam? Where can we see
Hulu? Yeah, it'll be on
Wonderful.
Hulu, yeah.
So excited for you guys. So excited.
Pam and Tommy.
Yeah.
Pamela Lee, Tommy.
Yeah.
Super excited for you, man. Congratulations. That's going to be incredible. Evan, bring us home. Where can we find you on social media? Maybe see some of your work. Watch Bakersfield.
Yeah. I mean, more than welcome to follow me. No, I mean, like, I don't know if I post that interesting of stuff on Instagram, but you're more than welcome to follow me. Sometimes I post film stuff on there, but that's just at Evan Sorlien, just my full
And spell
name.
your last name.
My last name is Sorlien, and then my website where you can see all the work that I do is just evansorlien.com. And there's a lot of stuff on there. There's some filmmaking stuff, but I'm an editor, so there's a lot of like promo and trailer work, and there's all sorts of stuff on there. So
We'll end on this, gentlemen. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about COVID and the effect it's had. And here we are, face to face for the first time in a year and a half plus. What does it mean to you to be face to face at a film festival once again, Evan?
it's amazing. It's really great to be around people again. And this is, film festivals. It's so important to be like a community, and to meet people and to network. So I'm so happy to be back. And I'm sure you guys feel the same.
Yep. Will you guys be here tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll see you there. Gentlemen, I'd wish you luck, but you don't need it. This was awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
What does defiant cinema mean to you?
It means going to the cinema in the middle of a pandemic.
That is the most unique answer of the night. Congratulations. Well done. What's your name?
I don't get my name out. I'm just kidding. Andy.
But is it only Andy in the pandemic and it was something else before?
It was Andrew, and then it was shortened to Andy.
Well done. Can you give me your name?
Sally.
Sally. I love that name. Okay. So, what does defiant cinema mean to you?
Defiant cinema. It's telling stories that are not typically told in the mainstream. I like stories that people don't think are going to make any money. Yes, I really, really loved I don't remember the name of it, but the social media one with the goth girl. It's so beautiful. I don't know. People don't know how to be in the world, and then you find a film that shows you how they actually are. It's beautiful. I loved it.
Oh, Randa. Boring.
Yep. No. Randa's a great name. Nobody has it. You're one of one. Okay, so here's the question of the night. What does defiant cinema mean to you?
Oh, Defiant Cinema, which is the Defy Festival is what we're... So here we are. I'm sorry, it was a last minute. We're coming last minute. So, well, this is my first time at the festival. And honestly, the dramedy short block was amazing. I was blown away. I really loved the last film, the Israel film. Yeah, the Israeli teenager. A touch. There were all the subtitles, but all the films were great. I mean, The Priest was great. I loved the swim one. What was the swim one? Do you remember the swim one? It was really dark, but also it reminded me the pool. Yeah, but the flamingo just blows up. It reminded me a little bit of a play, the play that we're doing right now. So, yeah, I loved. So, Defiant Cinema, I think, means to defy the odds, and to push past your limit. Of surprise.
I love that. Thank you very much.
Defiant cinema means to me telling stories that you want to tell rather than telling stories that you think are commercial. And so as a result, you make films that are the stories that you want to tell. And I think that's what about Defy I like as a film festival is that they exhibit films that resonate with you and connect with you as an audience, not necessarily up from on a commercial standpoint, but more on a more surface standpoint.
Here we are, Corby Linker at the Defy Film Festival. Welcome back to the Make It podcast. Man on the street here. We're asking everyone one question. What does defiant cinema mean to you?
Well, tonight it means variety and I would say a raw and earnest exploration of issues that are important to the filmmakers who made the films that I watched. So I watched like 5 films on a number of different, a number of themes and tones. There were some comedies and there were some serious treatments. And, you know, I was just talking with my wife, Randa, about it a few moments ago, about how inspiring it was to walk away from not just a single film, but, you know, a series of films and just realize how many... The way forward in storytelling is wide open as your imagination can reach, you know? And so that to me was extremely inspiring, and I'm kind of riding a high from it right now, and I'm looking forward to next year's bank of films.
Did any film surprise you, take you out of your comfort zone?
There was the one that was not like visually most like striking, but the storytelling was just so gripping all the way through. Was an Israeli film, Touch, yeah, about that girl that has kind of a, you know, a modern teenager's version of a crush, we could say. This is told from my perspective in my advanced years, but. There was an element of this thing that we're all dealing with, which is like the role that screens play in our communications. But then there was, because it was set in the Middle East, there was kind of a little foray out into, you know, Israeli versus Syrian culture, bridged between 2 teenage girls. And then at the end of the day, it was like a simple love story about the thing that's never changed with people, which is the desire to see and be seen and to be loved. And it was really moving. And from like a storytelling perspective, as a viewer, I just, from frame 1, I was in the story and never stopped. I never went like, oh, I checked my phone or, like until the very last moment. I'm like, that's the bar.
Corby, thanks for the time, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's glad to be here.
Oh man, it's just really good to see people again, you know, and just soaking up the ambiance and just seeing filmmakers that I know and love and talking to them about art. It's phenomenal.
Tell the people who you are, Kevin.
Well, I'm an editor here. I'm a video editor here in town. I work for a company that produces corporate media, but I am also I also write screenplays on the side. I'm also a film critic here in town, and and I'm also a director.
You're fucking everything.
Yes, pretty much everything but producing.
There it is. All right, I appreciate you. Thank you.
You are quite welcome.
Hello. What to you is the definition of defiant cinema?
Defiant cinema. I think it's like a version of art, and any art, I mean cinema, if that's what we're talking about, but a version of it where you don't care about the industry, you don't care about the number of people that see it or watch it or monetize it. You make the art you want to make.
I love that. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay. So my name is Meredith.
Meredith who?
Okay, Meredith Kragowski. Try spelling that one. It's more phonetic than you think. I am a musician. I'm a fiddle player. So I have gone deep into the rabbit hole of what art means and and what validated art means, and who tells me that my art is validated, and what is good and what is bad. And I feel like I've experienced every level of that. So especially when it comes to cinema, which I don't have a lot of experience with necessarily as an artist, but when I see really good film and really good cinema, that is what I want to celebrate. So if anything, that's where I come from, that idea of like independent cinema is the same as independent art. It's like, do you. Like, make the art you're going to make and don't apologize for it, because it will speak to somebody.
We hope you've enjoyed this bonus episode of the Make It Podcast live from Defy Film Festival. And we will be back, per usual, on Tuesdays with our indie talks and our bi-weekly interviews. Thank you. You've been listening to the Make It Podcast. To find out more information about this week's topics, including links to relevant blog posts, projects, and indie creatives, please visit our website at www.bonsai.film. If you haven't already, you can join our podcast community on Apple Podcasts or the podcast app of your choice by searching for Make It Bonsai Creative, and the show will pop right up. You now have the opportunity to support the production of this podcast. If you love Make It and are a true fan of what we're trying to accomplish in the indie film community, please visit www.bonsai.film and click Contribute. Contributions start at only $5 monthly. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at _Bonsai Creative, and on Facebook by searching for Bonsai Creative. You can provide feedback to us via email at contact@bonsai.film, and you can follow me, Chris, on Twitter at Flaming Your Heart. That's FLAMEINURHEART. And of course, if you're looking to take a big step towards your filmmaking success, go to www.bonsai.film and click on Services to explore a variety of offerings, from keynotes and panels to pitch readiness assessments and so much more. You have everything to gain. Until next time, be better, be creative, be engaged, and thank you for listening.